Welcome back. Episode 3 here. I just kind of wanted to delve into one of my favorite artists and show off kind of what I was talking about as far as like trying to collect everything from one band at least. One discography trying to complete all the way through. Case of Fire, I keep my records in this box here that's now like disintegrating in front of me, so I can't really show you. Which would be horrible trying to leave the house with that way. But essentially, I got it all in a carry case that I can get out, hopefully, if everything's my world's imploding. And I can get these records to a safe place and be able to enjoy them. Because this probably is my favorite band, pound for pound. They never release a bad album, it seems like, or a EP or anything like that. So kind of just go over what I have. And I'll start by saying, too, I don't have anything from the band when they had David Conway as their singer. I should say, I have the CDs and downloaded stuff, but not actual physical vinyl presses. I do have it for everything after Belinda joined, other than I'm missing one mini LP and a flexi disc that had a single that was released in a magazine. I still have to get those two, but after that, barring them releasing a new album, which, God willing, all My Bloody Valentine fans are always holding out hope against hope that that'll happen. I have everything that they've ever done. And so, I guess we'll go ahead and show that off. This is their first EP with Belinda. It was Strawberry Wine. It's so freaking good. It's not really indicative of where their sound would end up all the way. It's kind of jangly. Kind of that. I forget what it's called in the 80s. I have to look that up. But there was like a little movement in the late 80s there in England where it was they were all kind of releasing these kind of, I think it was twee, that's what it was called. But they were releasing all these kind of albums that had the kind of jangly birds feel to it. It's really, really good. They actually released it, which I have the CD. It's called Strawberry Wine, Ecstasy and Wine, I think that's what it's called. And it's that album I'm missing, the mini LP I'm missing, Ecstasy and Strawberry Wine EP, like, combined. And so I have that, but I don't have, oh, bless you, Winnie, my little dog over here sneezing. I have everything else on vinyl, and I have that CD because I'm missing that mini LP, but this was the very first thing that Belinda was on. And it's damn good. It's one of my favorite EPs ever. Some of the B-sides on it are just, Never Say Goodbye, Can I Touch You, just fantastic songs that weren't ever put on an album. It was just done on an EP. And EPs are some of my favorite things because, sometimes you got 15-20 minutes, maybe even less. You can throw them on and just enjoy it, but it's not a full, dense album, 18 minutes aside or 20 minutes aside. It's just, 6-9 minutes, and then you gotta switch it over. So, yeah, those are like kind of like the two that they released earlier, Strawberry Wine and Ecstasy, which I'm missing. I'm missing the mini LP Ecstasy. I'm always on a constant lookout for that. But this next EP they released, I believe 1987, and I was but a wee lad. Didn't know about them existing or anything like that at that point, but supposedly in the British press and the British music scene, this next EP they released like absolutely floored everyone. They couldn't believe it was the same band that had been releasing those jangly songs earlier. Now they come out right off the bat and just like blow everyone away. And it's took me years to know. You might not be able to see it, but that's a knife at her throat along with the flowers. I always notice the flowers, and I never noticed the knife. Um, and where do you begin? It's. I mean, I thought there'd be more credit. Oh yeah, there are. So you got Kevin Shields on the guitar, like I've said. Belinda Butcher, vocalist, guitar. Column. I can never say his name right. I know I'm gonna butcher it, but Osigla or Sieg or something like that. He ended up marrying Hope Sandoval from Mazzy Star. I know that, which it's another great band from the '90s. And then one of my favorite bassists ever, the Googe, Deb Googe. Like I told you, a lot of my favorite bands, it seems like they have an incredible female bass player, and Deb is a great, great bass player. So, oh shoot, I probably forgot to put it all in there. The name of this EP was "You Made Me Realize," and that's the kind of the title song off of it. And it's a banger. It's still a great track. I mean, you can play that thing loud as hell, and people know you're jamming out. But the cool thing about this is and what's always been about My Bloody Valentine is it seems like their B-sides are just as good as their A-sides. Just as good as the stuff that they're trying to, single to make a ton of money. The stuff they have to put on the album as the B-sides are fantastic. I mean, this has got Slow, Thorn, Cigarette in Your Bed, and Drive It Over Me. Literally, there's not a bad song on this. I think pound for pound, this is, in my opinion, it's in the top 2 or 3 best EPs of all time. Like, absolute, no filler, and all the songs are actually, perfect. So, they released this. I think that everyone in the world was like, what on earth are they going to do next? And what they kind of did next was they started releasing other EPs leading up to their first album. And this one is Feed Me Your Kiss. I want to make sure you can see it pretty good. It's got I Believe, Emptiness Inside, and I Need No Trust. Very, very, very good EP. Obviously, not as good as You Made Me Realize, because, I mean, that's epochal in the British music scene. But I love Feed Me Your Kiss. It's such a banging song, and I could tell why he would want to release that as a single, because it's bombastic and fun. So I guess I can bust them both out. So this is one of those bands, like I had said before, I own multiple copies of everything pretty much. And when I say multiple copies, this is the original. Should I say, this is their first full LP, released on Creation Records. An iconic record label in that late 80s, early 90s. So many of your favorite bands that still hold up were on that label. I think one of the last bands they signed was Oasis, if that makes you understand how influential it was in the British music scene. But yeah, Isn't Anything is this album. This is the original from 1988. It came with a 7-inch that was included that had, like I say, once again, their B-sides are incredible. And I got that, should have busted that out, but I got hidden back up in here behind that Leonard Skinner album. But essentially, it's it's 2 instrumental tracks, and one of them, he had been listening to Public Enemy, and he used one of the drum tracks for that, and just kind of put some gnarly guitar tones over it. It's so good, but it's it's just released as a little 7-inch add-on when you got this record. And I think in 2018 they re-released everything. Kevin did, and he kind of remixed the audio a little bit to sound just a little bit different, but more full sounding according to him, because at the time a lot of these records are being made to also go onto CDs, so the dynamic range is kind of altered a little bit. So he released this one in 2018, and I snapped him up as soon as I heard. I'm one of those people that follow this band. When they announce something, I am on it. I bought it the day it was announced, and because I bought it, they sent me not only this album, but an additional cut of the album that he had rejected as being I I think he thought it was a little too I don't know, bass heavy or just something he didn't like about it. And now it's one of the it's should I say the original that was in here was what was originally put in there, and they included that second cut of the album. Now that second cut of the album is now the established cut. After I think a year he put that as the established cut. So the one that originally came in this record is now probably the rarest mix of Isn't Anything. And this album, without a doubt, is one of the best of the 80s. Absolutely one of the best of the 80s. No question. And it's just so good. You literally can't believe that they are going to top this in a couple years by releasing that album Loveless that I've talked about, which I've got many versions of that I'm about to show you. It's so distinctive and raw, almost frightening at times what the heck not just him, but what all of them are doing and pushing sound in such a way. And the evolution of this band, it's like we're talking I guess it would be 86 is when Strawberry Wine comes out, to 1988. So it's about, 18 months to 2 years in that kind of range. And they sound like a completely different band. And the early stuff was good too. Like I said, Strawberry Wine is melodic and jangly, and it's just fantastic. But this is an entirely different beast. And especially they delivered after that You Made Me Realize EP. Everyone was like, man, like, what is going on with this band? They're getting better and better. And then this release comes out and they're like, Jesus, they're even better than the one before. So yeah, one of my favorites of all time. Everyone I've ever played this for is like, dang, how have I not heard of this band? I'm like, well, you probably have. It's you've seen that record Loveless, and a lot of people have heard that album. They're like, oh my gosh, it's My Bloody Valentine. It's the same. It's like, yeah, it's like they were pushing it as much as you can push something. So in the years after, they start gearing up to do their next album, which is going to be Loveless. And in the meantime, it's costing a ton of money to make this album. Kevin's bouncing around from studio to studio. Different audio engineers are being brought in because he just can't get the right sound that he wants. Pretty much at this point, he's like in a state of trying to achieve perfection. And there's so much pressure on the band because they've gone from kind of these, kind of nobodies on the scene. And they had been generating publicity for a while, especially when David Conway, the original singer, was with them. But they were kind of known as like these kind of Cramps, kind of derivative band. Even though they had their own kind of sonic texture to things that were going on. But when Belinda joined, it fundamentally changed the band. It really did. It went from this just melodic and sensual sound that they stayed with. So in the meantime, the world is waiting on Loveless to be released, and they wanted it to, everybody was just fervent to hear the next album. They had to give something to the public to chill people out, especially probably to get the record labels off their back. And so they released a couple EPs before the actual album came out. And this one's Glider. I don't know if you can see all that just perfectly, but it is one of my favorite EP/album covers. Pretty sure it's two girls kissing. And it's just very evocative of the sound of this album. It's almost sounds just, it's very sexual in a way. Just evocative of being in the love haze, if you will. And this one had a Soon, Glider, Don't Ask Why, and one of my favorite B-sides they ever did, Off Your Face. To me, it's like the highlight of Glider, even though I really do like the instrumental track Glider. You can play it in the background, and I know Kevin loved it. He released it in so many different ways, and it was recut by I think Andrew Weatherthal. one of the big DJs at the time. He kind of remixed it up there too, and it just, that made it even cooler. Then they followed up Glider with this one here, Tremolo EP. And this one, in my opinion, of the two leading up to Loveless, this one's I prefer this one, even though Off Your Face is probably my favorite song between the two of them. This one has Moon Song, which is one of my, dear favorite songs. I had read this not too long ago, that he was listening to Pet Sounds like crazy, the Beach Boys. And if you listen to Moon Song, you can really hear that Beach Boys Caroline No kind of sound to it. I think it's even got like bongos or something. It's great, and it's so outside of the realm of what they're doing, because I think I'm pretty sure it has what is it? Yeah, Swallow has a sample from like a Turkish TV show he was watching, and Kevin sampled a little section of it and puts it in there, and it's a great song. And one of the other ones in here is Honey Power. When I saw them live, they played Honey Power, and I absolutely lost my shit, because that's one that they don't always play, and it was so good. And I knew, that's from Tremolo EP, so it's like, and I should say too, the big thing about Tremolo EP is it had the song that was going to come out that was just going to blow everyone's mind, is To Hear Knows When. And when people heard this, from what I heard, contemporary, people could not figure out how the hell he got his guitars and the sound to sound like that. People actually thought their record was messed up because of how it sounded. They're like, this doesn't sound normal. And it's like, no, that's actually how it's supposed to sound. It's that distorted and warbly, and it's very, very, it's very good. And it's one of those things where when Loveless follows next, and this is my original 1991 copy. I have the 2018 copy, and they absolutely sound different, and in the best way. I think I've said before that this is my Desert Island album of all time. This is the one that I would take, because I swear to you, every time I listen to it, put a headphone on and listen to it, I find so much stuff going on in this that and it's like I didn't notice before. And sometimes, it's just individual tracks or something, but I'm like, man, I've heard this thing 1,000, maybe 1,000,000 times. How on earth did I not notice that this little section was going on in the background, or these vocals were being whispered over here? Just one of the best, my single favorite. It's my single favorite album, but it's one of the best, I think, even if you were just taking into account like the 90s or that era of time. It really captures what a lot of other bands were going to follow. They were literally going to look up Alan Moulder, who was like, I think, the main audio engineer that Kevin ended up using for quite a few of the tracks. I can't say most, because I think like maybe, I have to double check it, but I know Alan Moulder became big because Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins sought him out after hearing this album. He was like, what is that guy doing, Kevin Shields, doing over there? I want my records to sound as dense and layered as what he's releasing. And so this album is like a sonic blueprint of the 90s for a lot of alternative bands, especially guitar bands. They were like, this is what you can do in the studio? I mean, it floored people. So, cut to, like, that's 91 is when that's released. 22 years later, in 2013, they release their comeback album, MBV. This is right around the time that I met my wife, and I maybe met her about a month or two after this album came out. But I remember getting off work, and I came home, and I saw that they were going to release it that night, and I was like, is this right? And I'm telling you, everyone rushed to the website. It crashed. I stayed up past 12. I worked the next day, but I was like, I am getting this record, because I knew it was going to be very important that he he spent 22 years on it. Essentially, I knew that it was going to be great. I didn't even have to listen to it. I bought it instantly. I was like, get it to me, get it to me. And it took forever. I remember like maybe 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. I was finally able to get through and buy it after trying every like 10, 15 minutes. And once I was able to get through, I got to download it. And I remember playing that first song on here. It's called She Found Now. And it was so comforting. I was just like, oh my God, they're back. And they sound just as good. For a lot of people, it was kind of a letdown from Loveless. And I can understand that. Loveless is beyond iconic. But MBV was a great, great, great record. It's a great record. It's kind of feels like it's broken into like thirds. The first 4 songs sounded one way. First 3 songs sound one way. The next 3 songs sound one way, and then the final 3 songs are weird as all get out. And I just, I was so thankful when this came out. It was just like affirming that the love that I've had for this band, that they were going to deliver. They were never going to just take my money and just give me something substandard. Like, that's impossible. They're going to give me something great every single time. And yeah, that's MBV. That's one of the best. And I have a bunch of Kevin's other stuff. Like, he released this with Brian Eno, The Weight of History, and all. It's like just a little EP. I think his song on here is called Once Away, My Son, and it's really, really good. It's just kind of a ambient guitar. I mean, Kevin makes the craziest sounds with his guitar. I mean, it's inspiring to hear it. And I also have, I don't have it in here, but I think I have it over here somewhere, the Lost in Translation soundtrack, which he worked on, that has a couple songs that Kevin did individually. But yeah, I have all of these. Everything I've shown you on vinyl, I have on CD as well. I have original 1991 CDs and the ones that came out in 2018, along with the vinyls when they were released, because I wanted to hear the difference, because I know that Kevin is the type that was obsessed with pushing the envelope, what you could do in a studio. And I'm not kidding, the 91 CD sounds different than the 91 vinyl, and the 2018 CD sounds different than the 91 CD and the 91 vinyl. The 2018 vinyl sounds different than all of them too. It's like, and it's just subtle differences, but there are differences, and it's yeah. I just wanted to always be able to make sure I have the copy of that. Or, I mean, this is like my best find I ever found at the Goodwill. It's a 50 disc CD changer. I got it loaded up with some of the stuff that I'm missing in vinyl. And it's pretty much all, I think there's like, not all, but like maybe 11 CDs in there are My Bloody Valentine out of the 50. So I really, really, really love that band. Still do. And supposedly they're touring again for the first time. I was super fortunate. I saw them when they first got back together in 2000. I saw them in 2009, but they first got back together in 2008, I want to say. So I had like a 6 months of like holding on to this ticket, and I got it in one of these records. I'm not sure. I bet you if anything, I probably put it in the first 90. Yep, I did. Guys, this is my baby. This is like of all my records that are like most high value and everything, the ones I take care of. I only listen to this one like once a year. Enjoy it. So I guess you could say it's like my retirement plan. Holding on to these records. But yeah, I still have my Ticketmaster. I know it was in Dallas at the Palladium Ballroom, 7:30, April 22nd, 2009. I still got it. And me and my brother went and saw that show together, and to see this iconic Irish band playing a little concert venue in Dallas, it was so trippy. I think there was probably the room could hold like, I don't know, 300, 400 people. There was like 100 people, maybe even less in there. And I'm telling you, they assaulted us with sound. It was so freaking awesome. And then you cut to when I was saying this, when MBV came out, my wife knew how much I loved them, and she said, I got you something as a wedding gift. And she's like, we're going to go see My Bloody Valentine in Chicago. And so I am so fortunate that I've actually seen them twice. One of these like super elusive bands, I've seen them twice. I have 2 copies of, well, not a horrible way to show there. I have 2 copies of MVV just in case something ever happens to one. I listen to it, and I never wanted to be without. So, yeah, hopefully I can see them again if they tour the United States. I'm not the biggest live show person, but I would love to see them again. They're that good. But in the meantime, I would just accept a new EP or a new album would be like unbelievably amazing, because I know if whatever they release, it's going to be well thought out and not rushed. And I really appreciate that from artists when they care about their fans a lot. And it's not just, to make an easy, quick buck, but it's actually to leave a legacy. And Kevin and the band is obsessed with leaving a great legacy, which I'm going to tell you right now, they've already done. They never release another thing. They're locked in for all time. I mean, and they not broke up, they took a hiatus in 91, so right as the 90s were kicking off and everybody would have, I think, turned to them and been like, oh, you guys are the ones. They ducked out of the scene, and in a way, it made their influence grow over time, because they were like this mysterious band, like what could have been, like they're so good. So, yeah, I think that, like I told you before, I think you should pick your own band that's your favorite band if you're going to get into record collecting, and try to do like what I've done, get every single thing they've done. Hopefully you won't pick a band like, I don't know, the Grateful Dead or Chicago, because you're going to be getting a whole lot of records if you do. But yeah, if you do something a little manageable, it's fun to kind of be on this quest to complete everything. And once I get those final 2, I'm sure I'll upload the video saying it's done. I've finally completed everything. But yeah, that's my quest right now. So that's signing off here, and I'll see you again in the future.